So let's discuss a few tips that I believe will help you execute this excerpt a bit better. First, I chose to use medium rubber mallets for a number of reasons. First and foremost, I chose to use this because I wanted to control what was taking place in my hands. Meaning, if I wanted to get a bit louder or a bit softer, I felt as if medium rubber mallets were easier to execute and responded better than acrylic or harder mallets. If I wanted to get softer, I could control these with rubber mallets versus something that was harder. Also, I'm not sure exactly where the adjudicator would be in the room. It may be further away, but if he's too close or if they are too close to you, then a mallet might be too bright and that won't be the interpretation that you're looking for. So I chose to use medium rubber mallets. Next, one thing we need to work on in this excerpt, we need to understand what key we're in, which is a C major key, as well as C melodic minor. The reason why I say this is because at times we're playing B flats, other times we're playing B naturals. So make sure we're working on our C melodic minor scale as well as our C major scale. In measure 9 of this excerpt, this is the second measure of the excerpt, let's not taper off too early. But sometimes we want to begin to taper off at the very beginning of the measure, but as we see here, that it's not until the second beat that we begin to taper off. So don't try to get too quiet, too early, too fast. Next, let's be consistent through our mezzo piano section. Let's not try to add any inflections that are unnecessary. Let's make sure we're staying a consistent dynamic marking throughout that entire portion. Also, beginning at measure 12, we understand that now we're at mezzo forte, beginning on that C. And then we're playing a C minor arpeggio. So let's make sure we're working on our C minor arpeggio scales. Next, there's a tricky passage once we get to the next measure, which is measure 13. And that passage is, let's make sure that we're crescendoing all the way through that. All right, and that we've got to get our hands out of the way. So I recommend that we're splitting our hands to be able to make sure that we're not fumbling over each other. After we complete that passage, there is another section that's going to have us being a little tricky. So let's make sure we get our hands out of the way. And on that, let's make sure we're not ending on an accent on that last note. Oftentimes we could do this, but we have to understand each completion of that is down one dynamic. So we have to be a bit softer on each passage. And lastly, it is a C major arpeggio that I would work on. I tend to make everything that's a challenge some type of exercise. So I would play my C minor arpeggio something like this. With both hands. That way, when I play the final passage, I can work on tapering off. Hope that helps you.